for giving some insights into your roles and responsibilities.
Hmm.
Now, 5 years, right? 5 years in Azure is what you're
Right,
looking for as a platform guy.
right.
Now, I can see IAS, PaaS, migration directly. Uh, can you talk about, what is your understanding about landing zone, Azure landing zone? What is hub and spoke? What is your understanding of, cloud adoption framework?
I get two, three questions here, so I'll go one by one. Talking about landing zone first. So the landing zone setup, I understand, be it a new onboarding for a client or be it a migration. A landing zone setup, I understand it's a base of our infrastructure of our environment. I mean, if it is a migration case, let's say that I'm moving 30 virtual machines from on-prem from vCenter to Azure. So before I get those virtual machines actually on the portal, I will do my pre-work before getting those virtual machines where I could set up my policies, where I could set up my Azure account, subscription, my resource groups, my virtual networks. I'll have to make sure that I'm not repeating the same cider blocks which are there already in on-prem. VNet pairings, whatever is required, NSGs, VPN, firewalls, if I require some policies related to tags or anything, and even if I'm planning some high availability, so I would suggest to go ahead with load balancers also, at least with the front end IP, which is a mandatory thing. Back end we could do that later once we move the machine. So that is what I would call a landing zone setup, is where I would have everything, all the things which are possible before getting our virtual machines. This would help me to decrease the downtime window. So this is a landing zone. The another question you asked about hub and spoke. So hub and spoke, I understand it is nothing but a virtual network peering, but in a different way. In VNet peering, if I'm connecting to multiple VNets, they would be talking to each other. In hub and spoke, how it works, that we can have one hub VNet and we can have multiple spoke VNet. And those spokes VNet, they will talk to hub VNet, but they will not be able to talk to each other. I mean, if we want to, they can, but by default, they will not. I can use this to control my traffic, outbound traffic, inbound traffic. I can and to use servers like AD or something. I could put them in hub network, and to save some money also I could use. I remember in one of the project, it was client's requirement to use firewall, and firewall is one of the costliest resources in Azure. So their hub and spoke was used, and on the hub VNet, firewall was installed, and all other resources were kept in spoke VNet. So all those resources, whenever they were talking to outside traffic, the traffic was routing from the hub VNet, and by this logic, they were able to use firewall with the minimum amount. And internal spoke VNets, they were not able to talk to each other because that was the business requirement. And the another question you asked about the cloud
Yeah, cloud adoption framework.
adoption framework. It's a framework given by Microsoft. They have some recommendations. They have some suggestions that how should we go about a migration, what are the things to be considered, how to go. I mean, it's a details given by Microsoft. So we whenever we plan a migration or do something, we should do it using the frameworks shared by Microsoft.
Okay, great. That was much in detail. Thanks.
Mhm.
Uh, let's say you're talking about platforms more often. I mean, whenever you're discussing, when you're talking, you're more aligned with hub and spoke virtual network platforms.
Mhm.
How about your experience with other things like PaaS solutions, IaaS based solutions? So let's say I can see also in your CV you're migrated. I
Mhm.
have an on-premises solution, which is, let's keep it very simple.
Mhm.
I have a website which is high available on-premises, and then backend there is 2 DBs database servers split between this one for a high availability. I want to migrate. So this is the vague information that you're going to get. How do you plan it? I mean, what will be your solution? How do you assess and come up with a solution for the migration?
Right. I'll be very blunt about it because I'm coming from I started my career as a Windows infrastructure guy. So fortunately, unfortunately, whatever task or whatever projects I have been getting, most of my experience it's on platform is on infrastructure as a service. With PaaS, I do have experience Azure Web Apps and something, but I do not have much experience with it when it comes to PaaS. Talking about migration, yes, I do have experience in the given scenario when you are saying that you have an application, it is already on high availability, it is on-prem, and you want to move that to cloud, and you said there are databases also, and you wish to move the databases also, right? Talking about planning, it is currently it is not part of my job, and in fact in my previous job also we had architecture team. It was their job to do the planning. My job is to implement. However, being on call with them, I understand how they do it. So how we start, initially we probe the customers, we take the complete information that why are we moving, what is the aim we are trying to achieve, is it only money, is it scalability, is it high availability we are trying to achieve, or is it the monetary part, or some compliance option. And then we will take the complete information from them, that what how much they spending on it, what are the operating system they are using. Complete information once we have from them, maybe we can have a POC or something on our cloud subscription, on our cloud portal, or we can use Azure calculator. And then we can try to evaluate, or we can try to compare those amounts, that if you spend these many years on cloud, this is what you are going to achieve in terms of monitoring, in terms of scalability, in terms of functionality, that you're getting some new functions over here, or in terms of high availability. So these are the methods which we use when it comes to evaluation. And when it comes to implementation, then that's a different thing. This assessment which I was talking about, this is completely related to business and money, and then compliance. When it comes to technical assessment, that's where my role comes to picture. So in most of the project, we have been using Azure migration tool for assessment and for migration also. And I've used third-party tools also. I have experience with Current also. But most of the time we have been using Azure migration tool. So using the Azure migration tool, I can do the assessment for my application. Azure, I can do the assessment for my database. I can do the assessment for virtual machines. My major experience is with virtual machines. So using Azure migration tool or assessment tool, I can do the assessment. In that assessment, I will get the detailed report. Initially, it will discover the servers, and then I'll have to choose that how many servers I am planning to move. I'm not planning to move all of them. Even if there are only 20, I will not plan to move all of them together. So I'll decide how many I'm planning to move. It will do the assessment. It will give me the assessment report. It will also give me a suggestion sort of thing, that against this version, or against this server which has 32 GB of RAM or 500 GB disk, based on utilization, this is what is the best available option, but best available size on cloud. So something like this we can do, and then we can come up with a good plan. And once we are ready, then we go ahead with the migration tool. And using migration tool at the back end, it uses ASR. With the migration tool, we can migrate those servers. We can do the final cutover once the migration is done. And while migrating, either we can use those suggestions which we had got at the time of assessment, or we can choose our own. Sometimes it happens that client application, based on the nature of application owner will tell us that even if Azure is suggesting a smaller size, no, I want this to be with the current size, or maybe an extra size, something like this. So whatever we have decided on, based on this, we can start implementing. Once that is done, we still leave those servers, we shut them down, and once the hypercare period is over, then we start decommission of those servers. We assign tickets to the relevant team. So this is the approach what we follow.
Got it. Great. Now, more from a platform standpoint, what is availability set and availability zone?
Well, availability zone is something which is not available in every region. Availability zone is, for example, if I'm taking a region where I have availability zone, and I'm deploying my 6 servers for one application in multiple availability zones. So my servers will be divided. One server will go to availability zone 1, second will go to availability zone 2, third will go to availability zone 3, and similarly then it will start divided. So these are different data centers. So if I give an example of Pune city, if it is a Pune region, I might have one data center in Hinjawadi, another data center in SP Info City, which are far from each other. So this is how I can divide my servers. So if something happens, maybe a flood situation in one area or something, I will still have my application up and running from other data center. That is your availability zone, but it is not available in every region. There are a few regions where we have this service, there are a few regions where we do not have this service. When it comes to availability set is nothing but it is logically divided in one data center based on fault domain and update domain. So I can have my 3 or 6 servers for one application, but those will be divided in the same data center. So if something goes wrong, like an ISP or maybe electricity to some rack, I will at least have my another servers in another rack, so my application will be up and running.